Ghosting seems to be a common thing in the dating scene right now. So common, in fact, that people don't see it as toxic behavior. Because if you have to ignore someone instead of letting them down gently, you just vanish off the face of the earth. This is super rude. However, despite ghosting being rude, let's talk about the reasons why a guy may ghost you. Why did he completely disappear after you both had a strong connection where you believed you both had real chemistry? Maybe he gave you all the signs that he was attracted. Maybe you were texting each other non-stop and you had some incredible first dates. And then all of a sudden, he disappears, leaving you scratching your head. So let's dive in deep. Make sure you like and subscribe. He is emotionally unavailable. Psychology 101 tells us that we date people that make us feel a similar version of love to what we grew up with. Basically, we connect on a love level we were taught from our parents, unless we actively work through it. If, for example, your parents were emotionally unavailable, you never felt emotionally validated, so you grew up far too quick. Naturally, this is your baseline of love, so you will unconsciously spot the avoidant traits in a man, and you will become attracted to him because his style of love is what you are used to. It's comfortable and feels safe, even if it is emotionally lonely. And if you date an emotionally unavailable man, he will continue to disappear, and there will always be a push and pull dynamic. You won't feel seen or heard. He is terrified of emotional connection, and it doesn't matter how many mountains you moved for him or how much love you give him, you cannot get an emotionally unavailable man to love you more and give you the validation that you need. He needs to go to therapy, and it's not your job to encourage him to go to therapy or to wait around for him to change. You moved too quick. We all hope that we spend as little time possible on dating apps and quickly find someone to settle down with and spend the rest of our lives with. Yes, we put on our profiles if we want to get married or have children. However, we don't say that to our dates. We have a serious talk about it when you've been dating a long time. Otherwise, it comes across as creepy and needy. Maybe you gave him the impression you were in a rush to get married and have children, and that scared him away. You need to play the start of the relationship as easy and carefree as you can. You want to adopt the attitude of, I'm having a great time with you, and if you were to leave tomorrow, it would suck, but that's fine, I don't need you in my life. Don't invest too much too soon. That means you shouldn't start talking about living together until you are at least a year strong together. If a guy senses your desperation to hurry up with commitment, he's going to run a mile. So maybe you are constantly texting him, demanding you speak on the phone every single evening. This type of behavior he will assume comes from a place of low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and he will need to give you constant relationship, emotional validation, which is a lot of hard work. You played it too safe. In the hopes of making sure a relationship lasts, you want to play it down to the book. You endlessly watch relationship videos, read articles, and even copy and paste text messages that you find from online dating coaches, all in the hope that you don't do anything wrong. Sadly, relationships are not a cut and paste one-size-fits-all job, and he will sense when you are not in the present moment with him, worrying over every situation, and it will feel robotic and unloving. Instead of internalizing every conversation, remain mindful and in the moment with him. Otherwise, he will find you robotic, boring, and will run away. You are boring. Like I just mentioned. If there is nothing to mentally stimulate him, he's going to lose interest fast. A guy needs emotional and mental stimulation to want to stick around for the long haul, so stop playing it safe. And don't be scared to call him out for things. Talk about the things that you find interesting and show off how unique and independent you are. It doesn't matter if you think your hobbies are boring. The fact that you do something to get out of that habitual work until I die lifestyle is very attractive. Now, yes, I get it. Sometimes you may have to put yourself through a constant working situation to get yourself out of financial difficulty, so on the surface you may come across as a boring person. However, what you can do is make sure your conversations offer mental stimulation. Even if you are busy working, you still get to ask him intriguing questions, have healthy debates, and don't dumb yourself down or let your shyness get the best of you. Now, if a guy doesn't feel any excitement to want to hang out with you or to even talk to you, well, he will disappear to find something else that can mentally stimulate him. You are afraid to lose him. If you've been single for such a long time and you finally meet a man that is wonderful, you need to be careful because you may hold him at a higher importance than what he's actually worth. Maybe all of your past relationships have been toxic, so finding this man in front of you seems perfect and you can't afford to lose him. Your mum likes him, he recycles, even puts his socks in the laundry basket, not left in a pile next to the basket. And so what happens? Well, you try to make him like you more because you're afraid to lose him. You become obsessed, jealous, and needy. You could be pleasing him so much that you put in more effort than him, and eventually he will realize he did nothing to earn you. You by default are forceful with your love. You cook, wear lingerie, start liking the hobbies he likes. He will sense that you are afraid to be alone, also known as zero self-respect, and this will turn him off. Instead, you need to focus on what he gives you and not be afraid to lose a man, no matter how great he is. You don't need a man to be happy and secure. He didn't feel needed. Were you too independent? Maybe he got the vibe that dating you would be hard work. If you struggle to lower your walls and let him in, he won't feel that emotional connection. A guy is a natural hunter-gatherer. He wants to win over women. And yeah, I get it. Women are independent. We are no longer dependent on guys anymore. Considering we can open up our own bank accounts, we can vote, and have our own careers. However, a guy wants to feel needed. Call it the hero power. If you never gave him a reason to act typically manly around you, he would not want to stick around. Some ways to make him feel needed is to ask for his advice or simply get him to change your car light bulbs. Even if you can do it yourself, he doesn't need to know that. You lowered your standards. You were so blinded by a guy that you took the dregs of the relationship. Maybe you don't even know what your standards are in a relationship. Well, it's simple. If a guy does something you don't like, don't let him get away with it. Don't ignore it and internalize it, and don't even nag and complain. You simply say, I don't like this behavior. You pull away and focus on your life. Instead, however, if you let a guy walk over you or he doesn't respect your standards because you don't respect your own, he will walk away. A guy that is used to dating women with lower standards will always disappear. He does what he wants because he knows there's no consequences for his actions, and you will always take him back. Threatening to leave or starting to play hard to get, these are not high standards. And if you feel the need to adopt these methods to get a guy to give you attention, then you just have to leave that relationship and focus on finding someone better.